CNN commentator Fareed Zakaria went viral over the weekend when he blasted Democrat-run cities such as New York and Los Angeles for their spending.
Zakaria says the spending has gotten out of control and is only going to get worse. He cited New York City Mayor Zohran Mamdani's recently proposed 2027 budget of $127 billion. Let's watch.
New Yorkers pay tax rates comparable to European countries that provide in return universal health care, free college education, and amazing infrastructure. New Yorkers get some 300 miles of sidewalk sheds. New York is really a prime example of a problem Democrats seem unwilling to confront. Blue cities are out of control, promising more, spending more, delivering less, and pushing off the fiscal problems to some future day.
In addition to the Big Apple, Zakaria also called out major cities like Los Angeles and Chicago. He accused LA of being inefficient with their money when it comes to homelessness, with reports suggesting the city's homeless rate has only increased in the past few years, despite spending billions to fight it.
In Chicago, he says the city's pension program has expanded so much it will surely bankrupt the city at some point. Zakaria argues these cities have the right ideas in mind, but that they go about achieving their goals in the wrong way.
What is the theory of good government here? If the answer is keep adding programs, the city will keep producing unaffordability, because unaffordability is what happens when government becomes a machine that grows faster than the society it governs.
Zakaria's segment got lots of responses, both positive and negative, on social media. Billionaire John Arnold echoed his sentiment, saying, "This is an important message to progressive mayors. The era of sustaining bloated operations through tax increases on a shrinking base is over. They must think about better rather than more."
But journalist Thomas Kennedy was much more critical, writing, quote, "Florida is about to abolish property taxes because of a libertarian fever dream that mostly benefits retired boomers, which will effectively collapse municipal services and public schools funding in the state." And this is what Zakaria chooses to focus on: an unserious person. What say you, Libertarian?
As a Libertarian and a fevered one, we don't want to abolish property taxes. We want to abolish income taxes. Sales tax is the ideal way to fund government service from a Libertarian perspective. Income tax is the worst. Property tax is somewhere in the middle. I take the person's point. We don't want to just get rid of property tax and leave other forms of taxation in place, because that does benefit the elderly, because they're the ones who own property. So then you're getting, and they're the ones who have most of the wealth in society, and they're the ones who get most of the benefits in terms of Medicare and Social Security. So you don't want to remove the taxes on the people who are getting disproportionately all the benefits and who disproportionately have all the wealth. So that is not something we Libertarians want. I want to reduce income tax. Primarily, that's the main thing, so that people can be productive. Hardworking people keep more of what they earn. You want to go out and work more because you're keeping more of what you earn, and then you're spending that money, or you're saving for a home, or you're putting it into the economy. Sales tax is what we like because it's fair to everybody. Everybody's going to pay it regardless of what you have, and that's the great equalizer. We can talk about different approaches to taxation, but bringing it down broadly, and particularly bringing down income tax, is what I would be in favor of. Now, blue cities love their little income taxes, huge income tax, want us to be like Europe. Some countries in Europe, you're paying 60% income tax. Majority of what you earn goes to the government. And I think Fareed made a good point there. But in Europe, you do get, for having done that, they get services that they like.
Like healthcare.
And right. But here, New York is getting close to that. What is it? Is it offering anything close to what European countries offer when they take that much money?
Well, big cities are expensive to run, right? So he's just speaking like it's so easy to solve.
Denmark's not expensive to run?
I mean, they provide millions of dollars in services to low-income residents.
No, they don't. They provide pensions. That's what is
one of the things, but there are several other services.
The low-income, that's not bankrupting the city. That's a trifling amount of money. It is. What's bankrupting the city is pensions for government employees. Government employees are going to ruin everything for blue governance because they're greedy, and they have unfair benefit systems that do not exist in the private sector. There's no equivalent for them. It's very unique to America as well.
I think that whether it's homelessness or whether it's overspending, we're still reaping a lot of the effects of COVID. And I think you have to be mindful that in big cities, whatever was happening in smaller cities was exacerbated times a million in every major city like New York. I mean, we saw some of the implications. So the fact that cities are, 6 years out, just picking up the pieces, not even from the ending, from the start, just picking up the pieces, you got to give it some time to reorganize and reshuffle. It's easy to be like a population of, some thousands versus millions. I think that, that's a real harsh criticism. And I know he's trying to appeal to like somebody moderate down the middle, but then propose a policy. And I know he's a journalist, so that's not his job. But like for the moderate people that are criticizing
policy is
Mamdani,
to phase out
I mean,
pensions.
okay, there's people who've worked their whole life with the idea of getting a pension. So maybe start from the people right now, but you can't phase out pensions of people that are retired and will have nothing to live off. You want people to do what? With their ailments and elderly age, what would you like them to go do to make money if they have no pension, even though they worked their whole life thinking they would get one? How do you want them to live, Robbie?
I don't care.
It's like if you have a 401k and then they phase that out and you're retired now. Well, this is an odd time to choose that you're phasing this thing out.
Government. It's taxpayer money. They took our money and they said, but I was promised your money. You can't take it back.
So then people just going to go broke and have no food on the table, can't pay a bill. They're going to depend on Social Security only. What, they're going to depend on like $500? That's what you want people to depend on who are retired? That's not right, Robbie. You got to have a more nuanced solution to this.
For young people to not be able to start families, to not be able to afford childcare, to not be able to buy homes, because old people who retired at, after 25 years of employment at 65 and are going to live 30 more years and have government granted, I'm not complaining about any system you worked out in the private sector, whatever. A lot of these things are ridiculous, but fine. But are going to get government guaranteed benefits paid for by young people for 30 years. Massive amount of their salary, ongoing. Do you see these Medicare Advantage plans? These Medicare Advantage plans, we're paying for golf lessons and tennis lessons.
To keep older people active?
I think they should pay for their own tennis lessons. Dear Lord. Dear Lord.
I care. I just really have a deep care about the grandmas and grandpas.
Well, it's not a lot. I mean, I love my grandparents too, but they'll be the first. They would be the first
to medical care.
They'll be the first to tell you that they saved their whole lives so that they would not be a burden on anyone. They were my grandparents, financially savvy people who saved and have plenty of money now, and it's not that they're taking it from us, and they're entitled to that because it's their money because they saved it.
But the average American might not be in the position that your grandma and grandpa is, particularly in this economy. So if you look at where people are and how maybe their funds changed, especially referencing COVID again during that last period that was rough on a lot of people, when you think about the expensive medical costs, even with coverage that we talk about, and most people hit some kind of, they always recommend that you get disability. That's more important sometimes than life insurance because most people experience something where they need a couple of weeks off work, and most people just don't get paid if they're not in a situation where they can get paid. And so therefore people have ailments that do cost money. There's a lot of things that come up that might deplete a savings. I've watched it happen to a variety of people that you can't plan on these kind of things. And so sometimes it's nice to know that you have invested in something that will protect you in the long run in case this cushion that you were lucky enough to save or that you weren't because the economy is like it is right now. Most people live check to check. There's studies that come out every year about this. So what do you want them to do, these young people right now that are trying to retire someday? You want them to be like your grandparents when they have no way to do that because groceries are more expensive than they've ever been and, living day to day is still, it's the number one issue. I want to reduce
their taxes. That's what I want to do. I want to let them keep more of their income. That's what I want to do.
Well, the president just passed the one big beautiful bill that didn't really help the average American reduce their taxes. And so they're still paying high taxes. So, what are we doing?
We should reduce income tax and start with that. That's what I'd be in favor of. But all these blue cities we're talking about, they don't want to reduce income tax. They want to increase it. That's what they're working toward. Raise your taxes. That's government if we elect more Democrats. We have a lot more to talk about on Rising. Please stay with us.